Welcome to Kitchen Table Conversations, a series of short and shareable conversation starters for those of us who have or love and support people with a complicated and beautiful brain. Here's your host, Angela Geddes.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Kitchen Table Conversations. If this is the first time tuning in, thanks so much for taking a chance on us. And if you are a repeat listener, I just can't tell you how much I appreciate your support for this podcast and for your interest. Obviously, I think the topics that we're covering are incredibly important, and I do appreciate the support and your ability to share this information with the people that you hold dear to your heart and that you hold close and around your own kitchen tables. So as summer holidays officially begin, we want to take a moment to celebrate this new season and to also hold space for the fact that for many families, especially many of the ones that I support, summer isn't always the peaceful, easy time it's made out to be. For some families, raising children, youth, and adults with complex neurodevelopmental needs, the loss of school routines, daily structure, and support systems can actually bring on more stress and not less. So if you're navigating a summer full of big emotions and unpredictable behaviors, impulsivity, and transitions that feel harder than they should, please know that you're not alone. Many of the families that we support are raising spirited individuals with what we call a complicated and beautiful brain. And this time of year can feel both hopeful and hard. And it's important for you to know that you can feel both things at the same time. You can look forward to summer and also be a little bit worried and maybe even fearful of what the summer might bring. And all of those feelings are yours and they're okay to have. It's how we think about the feelings, the judgment that often accompanies them, and how often we overthink and try to fix. And, those thoughts that we have that surround the feelings that can be very intense are sometimes where we can take the opportunity to challenge them and to see whether or not these thoughts are actually helping us or are doing a little bit more harm. And that's a discussion that I encourage everyone to have with somebody that's important to them or a support person that may be within their circle of care. So we have to remember that the children that we're talking about, or the children, youth, and adults, may have symptoms of impulsivity, dysregulation, fast and furious mood swings or shifts, rigid thinking, attention difficulties, and some real difficulty or challenge with change. And these symptoms can be found in a variety of conditions and seen in diagnoses such as ADHD with, intense symptoms of ADHD, autism spectrum disorder, fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, oppositional defiant disorder, and some people who experience anxiety, some depression, and other learning and mental health differences. But no matter what the label, the challenges can be very real. So what can help? It's different for everyone. And I think that that's really, really important to remember. What might work for you may not work for somebody else. What may work for you today may not work for you tomorrow. Those are things that are important for us to understand and realize. There is often, with some of these conditions that we have, there's often what I would refer to as inconsistent performance. And that inconsistency can be really challenging because we can't always predict. But it is important to do whatever we can. And first and foremost, I think structure can be really, really helpful. Some individuals thrive, however, with tight schedules, visual routines, and clear expectations. And without structure, they may feel very lost or overwhelmed. On the other hand, others need some breathing room, some downtime outside, decompression time, maybe some time with headphones or video games, or fewer expectations altogether. It's important to know that there's no right way or no best approach, but the best approach is the one that supports your child's regulation and your family's well-being. So in other words, if the neighborhood is having a big party and everybody's going and you all think that this is really going to be important for your family, but the music is too loud, the lights are too bright, the activities are too overstimulating, the food is too diverse and strange to the individual, and it results or you anticipate kind of a meltdown or a real challenge, I would say that that's not in the best interest of your child or your family's well-being. So we have to kind of re-evaluate some of the things that we, what we expect or what we're hoping for during our summer holidays. And sometimes it is really okay to make sure that your spirited child is supported in a different way. And maybe they don't go to the party, but maybe they go somewhere else with a very special uncle, where they go and ride horses for the afternoon, or they go to the beach, or they go to the park for the afternoon, or they go to a movie theater that supports some of the sensory processing challenges that would make that afternoon lovely and special, while the rest of the family can maybe enjoy some of the busyness and some of the chaos that comes with neighborhood parties. So that's just an example, but there's no right or wrong way, and it is okay to sometimes divide our families up in order to make sure that everyone's experience is as good as it can be. So in our newly released second edition of Not Your Typical Parenting Guide in a Complicated and Beautiful Brain, we explore ways to set up your environment in ways that work for you and your family, whatever that looks like. We also talk about nutrition and regulation and supporting kids who overeat and undereat and who ruminate over food or forget to eat sometimes. And sometimes limiting access to certain foods like cookies or sugary snacks isn't about control, and it's not about teaching your children how to control necessarily. It's sometimes about reducing the mental weight and the stress that comes with that craving and scarcity, and also the inability to shift the thinking away from I need to eat it now, or if I don't eat it now, it might be gone when I do want it. So sometimes we just have to limit that access. And it is about the well-being of the child and reducing the stress and the health consequences of overeating like that. So we also talk about movement and nature, and not just as fun activities, but as tools for calming the nervous system, whether it's time in the woods, walking barefoot in the grass, or a few stretches on a yoga mat. These mindful, small, but mindful moments can really help reset the body and the brain. And we also talk about boundaries and decision making. While it is healthy to involve kids in some decisions, and I encourage it as whenever possible, because obviously buy-in is much better when you have people involved in conversations and not just topics of them. So I believe that fundamentally. And summer can be a good time for that, but it can also be a great time to practice kind of holding some of those firm boundaries and reminding our kids that we as parents and caregivers are here to guide and protect them, and that they need to trust that we're making decisions that are going to support their physical and emotional safety and leave them feeling dignified, and make sure that we mitigate some of the risks. And really, kids count on us to make those decisions, even while they're arguing with us, right? They need to know that we are there and ultimately in control, even when sometimes it really doesn't feel like that. And the book and I, in my practice, always try to help families understand and caregivers understand that we can't forget about us as caregivers and as parents. Summer may offer small windows of flexibility, and let's use them to refill our own cups, whether it's checking something off of your long forgotten to-do list, or waking up early for a quiet coffee, letting the kids sleep and just allowing that quiet time, or getting a sitter, or again, a special auntie or an uncle or a neighbor that can help you to take that break, because you matter too. And self-care is not selfish. It's about being the best person you can be in order to be the best parent and caregiver that you want to be. And it can look simple, sometimes a walk, a rest, a phone call to a friend, and reaching out to a support worker or a therapist. If you don't know where to start, you can check out our website. Our growing team is also here to help you. So we're now offering supports in communities across Ontario. We've got people in Windsor, in Belleville, St. Catharines, Bowmanville, the GTA. We're just building this, and then the Hamilton area. So, and virtually, of course, through Zoom and other platforms, we can support people across the province. So check out our Meet the Team page and our website for more details. And before we go, I just wanted to make a quick note that our podcast will be taking a break over the summer in the spirit of self-care and work-life balance, and allowing myself to have a bit of a holiday while I kind of regroup and get really busy for September, where most of us know September is Fetal Alcohol Spectrum Awareness Month. So there'll be lots of activities going on that month to help raise awareness. And certainly our podcast will be in full swing, and we'll be offering weekly sessions or weekly podcasts at that point. And then we'll be returning to our bi-weekly schedule in October. So until then, be kind to yourselves, enjoy the sunshine as much as you possibly can. This season may not be calm and quiet, but you can still hold some moments of joy, connection, and growth. And I wish you all the best. Thanks so much for listening. Have a happy summer, however that looks for you. With many thanks, Angela.